Here we are with the lovely Harriet Janman. Welcome, Harriet, to the Makeover Show.
Thank you.
Now, the purpose of this show, and for those of you who've seen other episodes, is what we do is we take what you have given us in terms of your existing current business, and we show you, by making some tiny tweaks, how you can make a significant difference, just not only to your revenue, your billings, but more importantly, actually to your world, to your life. So that is what it's all about today, because underneath those are pots of gold, absolute pots of gold that maybe you haven't noticed because you're in the thick of it. So would you be able to give everybody a bit of a lowdown on what you do, what you specialize in, and how big your team is, please?
Yeah, certainly. So I purely focus in power generation recruitment. I have done for many years now. It's really a great niche to have. Specialise in reciprocating engines within that sector mainly. So working with either diesel, gas engines from anything from store sites, peaking plants, landfill, anaerobic digestion, those sorts of things, data centres, hospitals, all over. So it's a really busy sector, booming sector, and yeah, good one to be in as well. Very technical, but good fun.
Yeah, it sounds fascinating. There are some titles in there I'd never heard of. That's going over the top of my head. That's fantastic. Out of curiosity, how did you get into that market?
And so I started recruiting in Formula One when I was in my teens, and it was amazing industry to be in. I was taught by engineers, so even though I'm not an engineer, I've got a good technical understanding, and got to travel the world a lot, which was amazing. But then moved more into power gen, because with Formula One and automotive, you're looking at quite long notice periods, and you can't move people from certain companies because they might use their engine or something else like that. So gradually started to build up within power gen, and go from there. Now I'm purely power gen.
Love it. Fascinating.
Totally is. And how big is your team?
So team's very small. It's myself and Ariana. Ariana started in March this year. So she's only been with me for 4 weeks, but she's doing amazingly well.
And so in terms of your roles, like who does what?
So Ariana basically does resourcing and administration. And I do everything else, but we work very much as a team and very closely together. So she's my right hand girl and helps with pretty much everything that's needed.
Awesome. Now, just a quick couple of questions, because it's such a fascinating niche. It's and also just being a woman in this niche, and that's not meant, by the way, at all sexist, but like I'm like, go girl, it's just fantastic. So can you just give us an idea of like the average fee that you're working with, the the types of roles that you really love and enjoy most working within your niche?
So I'd say my fee value, I would say, is quite low within my niche. It's around about 5.5. But they are the roles that are my sort of bread and butter roles that I find quite easy to fill. So they are sort of more the technician roles, the hands-on engineer roles, the ones that come up quite a lot. So I would say the lower volume, but the lower value, the higher volume ones. Although it's just as interesting to work on a more senior role as well, but they don't come around as often for me. So I tend to stick with the other ones, the quick wins as such.
Okay, cool. And in terms of the roles that you most enjoy working on, is there like a specific role that you would just like, I love that type of person, I love that type of job?
For me, it's my understanding of it. If I understand the role technically and I find it easy to identify the right engineers, then they are the ones that I will jump on. Because it gives me more confidence. I know what I'm looking for, I suppose, as well. So, and they would be the hands-on engine guys. I've got quite a large network of them as well. So a lot of it is referrals and recommendations, which again makes it easier to identify the right people.
Yeah, totally. And if you had a magic wand on what you'd like the business to be generating, and when I say like a magic wand figure, like the figure that would be a push for you, but would also make you absolutely so happy that you were sort of skipping with joy if you achieved it on a monthly basis, what would that figure be for you?
I would say I don't work every single month, so I would do it annually. I would say around 200k per annum. Cool. would be, more than enough. I run it very much as a lifestyle business around the family and the children, so it's not a case for me of wanting to make a huge amount. It is making it work so that the revenue's there when I'm working, but I can also have the summers off with my family, have the whole of Christmas off, and those sorts of things.
Lovely. Nice.
Fantastic. It's interesting because that's probably one of the most important things when we're talking to people. We use figures as a goal, but actually it's almost like, how do you want the business to be on a day-to-day basis, so that actually you're living and you've created a business that works for you, rather than you working for this business that you sort of trapped in. So just on that point, if you had like a total magic wand on how you'd want it set up, bearing in mind, you want to be taking like the whole of the summer off, Christmas off, like how would you want the business set up? Like, again, if you could have anything you wanted, there's no boundaries on it, like how would you want it to be working?
My goal, what I'm trying to get towards at the moment, is to be able to work school hours Monday to Friday, which is 9 till 3, Monday to Friday, with a day off during the week. That doesn't happen at all, but that is what I am trying to work towards, and to be able to have half terms and holidays and everything off, and then not worry. Obviously you've always got to step in, haven't you? You've always got to be there, but to be able to have enough going on in the background, and have Ariana at a level where she's able to be dealing with the day-to-day things, so I can have that family time. I think that's what the goal is.
Absolutely. And I can tell you it's totally possible to have that. And it will come down actually to just a couple of tweaks in how you structure it. And this is so on the money, isn't it, Katie, from what we were talking about over.
Absolutely. I mean, this has been a prominent focus point for us in conversation, because, as Nikki said, this is really, what we stand for. One of the big things that we help our clients to achieve, because there's so many recruitment business owners. And I think you've really touched on it, Harriet. You may have felt like that, where you create the business, but as you get more and more successful, the business gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And actually what ends up happening is that lifestyle business that you once wanted ends up becoming a bit of a chain for you, and it's not necessarily delivering you, what it is that you want, but you've built this entity, and you need then to make some changes to that. And it's wonderful when you're on purpose and you know exactly what it is that you want to create in your personal life, but then how you actually get your business to facilitate that lifestyle for you is something, and that's actually an area that a lot of people struggle with, but aren't exactly sure how to. The mechanics, forgive me, I'm going to use your engineering, mechanics of how actually do you get that happening, and that's absolutely what we'll be helping you with today, and what we help our clients with.
Yeah. And so we have a lot of people who are very money rich but very time poor, and then they fall out of love with their businesses because it's just not serving them, to do the stuff that they want, and they're not in balance.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you. What would you say are the things that are causing you to not, you say you want to work school hours, take a day off, like what are some of the things you're feeling that you're having to do which are causing you to work longer hours than you'd like?
I would say that I am a sucker for when work comes in and doing it. Definitely. I like being busy. I know that recruitment can be famine or feast as well. So when it's going well and I'm doing well, I keep going. And I am, very aware that candidates aren't always available during 9 till 3. You know, clients aren't always available 9 till 3. So there is that element of flexibility needed as well. And while Arianna is training and learning and developing, I need to be by her side more, helping her more. So it's that sort of that push to help her and help her grow means that at the moment I'm doing more while she develops and learns, and then hopefully I can step back more.
Yes.
That's where we are at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, definitely. And there is, you know, certainly when you're building out the systems and getting people to do things, it's that pinch point where it's like, oh my God, how do I manage to continue billing? And I need to then outsource. And a lot of people give up because it's so hard. But actually, it's only hard when you look at it, probably for about 4 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you've got then the processes in place beyond that, and it's just about pushing through that ceiling. Okay, right. Well, let me show you what we have found, because and the key with this, Katie, is that we're going to be looking at figures, but we want to be looking at how you can achieve these figures whilst working less.
Mm-hmm.
That is absolutely the most crucial thing here. Because it's not necessarily going to be in and around the money. So, and as we know, like the path to scaling, you know, scaling your business, whether it's 200k, whether it's £1 million, it doesn't matter. It's always simpler, easier, and faster than you think. But there's certain things that we call these magic profit levers. These parts of your business, like the 80-20 rule, where 20% of certain activities that you do are going to give you 80% of your results. And there's one activity that absolutely jumps out at us in your business that's the 20% that's going to make a big difference, which we're going to share with you in a minute. So that's what we're looking for when we analyze the data. And data is really the most important thing because it doesn't lie. It gives us reality. And it also shows us like where in the process, if you were to tweak this part of the process, a difference it can make. So, and I always use the analogy of the Wolf of Wall Street. Whether you love him or hate him, like one of the reasons why that guy was so successful with his business was he broke down his whole format, and it was his penny pitch, which was the part of the business, which was where the money changed hands. So he basically systemized that script, and he taught his guys to memorize that script forward, backwards, inside out, upside down. And as he said those guys were dumber than dog shit. If I can teach these dumber than dog shit guys to do what I could do, you guys with a brain and God knows what else could absolutely smash this. So there is a part in your process where if you can systemize this and you can teach somebody else to do it, you actually wouldn't need to work even 4 days. You could work 1 day a week. Maybe like we've got one of our clients who works 1 day a month, and she's moved to Ibiza and she just does her one-to-one coaching with her team once a month, and somebody else does all the other stuff. Like she's got more than one person there. So, and interestingly, she's in the engineering space as well. So if we look at the stats, in the last 13 weeks, you had 16 jobs, which has averaged about 1 job a week. Couldn't look at the specific figures on the number of candidates that you guys had spoken to and interviewed. We didn't have that information. Harriet, is it all right if you ask your other half just to switch the music off? Because all I can hear is
oh, sorry. Can you turn the radio off, please? Sorry.
That would help a little bit. Cool. That's so much better. Awesome. You sent 55 CVs, so that was 10 a week. 52 first interviews, 6 per week.
I think that's 52 total interviews. Is it not? I don't think they're classed as first, but it should, I think, be total, because that's an awful lot of interviews.
So have you any idea what your split between, like how many, do you have lots of thirds happening? Was it just mainly first or second interviews?
It's first and seconds.
And do you know what the split is between those two?
I would say every interview goes to a second.
Okay, so 2 to 1. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So that would be then about 20, it'd be 26 first interviews and 52 minus 26, 26 seconds. Okay, that's cool. We're just, so rather than first interviews, let's imagine that says total interviews and then 9 placements. So average is about, it's about 0.8 a week, but I've rounded that up to 1. So here's some things. Now, this arrow's in the wrong place. Now, there's some things that you've done which are really, that you're doing, which are really good. So if you look at these stats, hang on, let's just bring it up so I've got it in front of me. Your jobs filled, you're filling 56% of your jobs. Now, I can tell you that is way above average. Most businesses would be filling anywhere between 4% and 20%.
Okay.
So what you're doing is, it's way above average, but it could be, if you're coming in at that level, imagine what would happen if you could fill more of those. And there's certain things that you can tweak in your process with your jobs that will get that up to 75% very quickly. And there's nothing stopping you from actually getting that up to 95%. As long as you've got the candidates.
Yeah.
Second one, which is also very impressive. So whenever you send us a CV, people want to interview that candidate. That's another. So that demonstrates your quality of your matching is really high. You also are getting 3 interviews for each job, and this is a really interesting thing. It's like this is like a magic metric for us. If you can get 3 interviews for each job, you're 72% more likely to place that job. So that is another, those are 3 things I want you to acknowledge that you are doing way above par, and these stats show amazing quality.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Katie, anything else that you can
Yeah, I think just to add to that, I mean, you mentioned at the beginning, didn't you, Harriet, that that sweet spot that you recruit into, that you said was slightly more high volume but lower value, but those technicians, that marketplace, they're easy to fill. And you then went on to tell us that actually how you found those types of candidates was actually interesting because it's through your referrals, your recommendations. So again, it's just reinforcing really how well you've established yourself within that marketplace, and the fact that your candidates are coming to you in that way. And so it's highly likely the reason that your ratios are low is because I suspect those candidates are only working with you. And that's, if they're coming to you through referrals and recommendations, you'll get to them faster than other people. And therefore, it could be that, they're not working with multiple agencies. So you've got that buy-in and trust beforehand.
I think it's knowing what you're talking about as well as a big thing. I because I've worked in the sector a long time, I've got a very good technical understanding. So I'm able to talk to them at an engineering level, but as a recruiter. And I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It will do when you can talk from both areas. And ultimately, that's the difference, isn't it? It changes the conversation, the quality and depth of conversation that you're having, because you then really understand the job that they're doing rather than the recruitment process.
Yeah.
And, a lot of recruiters, or those that, if you like, don't get as far, is because they might know the recruitment process, but actually what ends up happening is they're using the same sort of jargon and language and questions that every other recruiter's asking. And so, from a candidate's perspective, when you can demonstrate how well you understand their problems, their pain points, their desires, the challenges that they have in their job, they're way more likely to open up to you. So you're doing some, great work there. It just demonstrates, like you're saying, your expertise in that niche.
Now, I've got a slight issue with.
So what would be interesting would be to know what that next level up would be in terms of salary levels and role types.
Yeah, I think definitely more project managers. You know, I used to do more at project management level and more senior level, but the need has been at technician level more recently. That's where clients have been coming to me. So that's the work I've been doing. But there's definitely work out there at more project level and sort of more operational level for sure.
Yeah. And when you mention that they're high volume, what percentage of the marketplace of those technician roles do you think you're getting right now?
Not many at all. I have a few key clients I work with, and that's it. So
Right.
I'm not speccing them out. I am not doing anywhere near what I could be. I am very much working on a reactive basis, based on what comes in.
Fab. That's, I think, where this gets exciting then, because based upon what you're saying, how many clients do you work with then in total?
I work with under 10, I would say.
Okay. And at any one time, how many briefs do you have on?
I would say probably up to 12 at any one time.
Okay. And you're filling half of those. So tell us the process when you get a candidate in, when you get one of those recommendations, how many opportunities does that candidate get sent to?
Generally the job. You know, I am very much working on the jobs that I get. So I will work it that I will send maybe 5 CVs to that job, roughly, get 3 interviews for that job and fill that job. And that's my sort of process as it stands. You know, I'm very well aware of the things I'm not doing in terms of speccing out and growing the business with other clients. So I know that that's something I'm missing out on at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely an opportunity there to be, you know, doubling, trebling what you're doing within that space, because you've got candidates that you could be doing more with, and then you've got business development that you could. So you've got 2 customer bases there that could be maximised, which would straight away double your placement ratio. Because at the moment, from what we can see, you're taking 1 job a week, and you're pretty much filling that job.
Yeah, which is good. And the thing is that for me, it's not about dealing with more companies necessarily. It's about doing a good job with the companies I'm dealing with, and getting it so I can do that same level, but in core hours and around the boys.
Yeah. And so what would you need? Ariana, what elements of the job does she do for you?
So at the moment, she's very much resourcing. And she's, you know, we know it's an upside down funnel, don't we? We know it's like that. And she's doing this key area here of identifying candidates and talking to candidates and those initial pre-screens, so that I can talk with them and, you know, really identify, okay, are we going to send the right person? Is this the right move? And then move it down. So the idea is really to build her up to be more consultative, so she can be doing more and more. And then I can be coming in to check in and make sure that we're just, you know, ticking all the boxes and following the process.
Yeah, definitely. Because if you could have what you're identifying is there's an opportunity with the candidates, because at the moment you're not speccing those out. So even just by packaging those candidates and sending those candidates to other opportunities, it's highly likely that you would make another placement from one of those candidates.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, didn't you, that your average fee was 5.5?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were, and I appreciate we haven't got your candidate numbers here, have you got any idea how many you register on a weekly basis, do you think?
No, it's not something that I keep track of, if I'm completely honest with you. Unless it's on Bullhorn, it's not a figure that is known to me.
Okay. So I'm just looking at Nikki's. Yeah, we haven't got it on there, have we? No,
we don't. And that would be a figure I would start looking at, mainly, well, certainly from Ariana's perspective as well, because you know, like if she's got very clear targets, like we, you know, say you want to get 3 candidates for each job, how many people does she need to speak to? How many people does she need to properly interview? How many referrals does she need to be getting on a weekly basis? Because it then gives a much clearer target, you know, and you know that if she books in 5 candidates for you each week, you'll place well, I don't know, we don't know the stats, but you know, that then makes it much easier for you to track whether she's doing a good job or not.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're doing her first sort of look at all this sort of stuff tomorrow, and we're going to sit down. We've got her first appraisal as such. We were going to sit down and go through everything and figure out, okay, what are our goals for April? What do we want to achieve, and what do we need to do that?
Brilliant.
Reverse engineer it. Yeah,
good. Now, I've just done some jiggery pokery with this, and this is not the best thing, that the slides came through bizarrely. So I wanted just to show you what would happen if you could fill a slightly higher percentage of jobs. So you're filling 56% at the minute, but if you were to fill just a 10% extra at 68%, that would give you an extra 35 grand a month. So that's one area, but I wanted just to show you this. We've got your golden area is if you could get one more job a week, or even two more jobs a week, you'd make an extra, what was it, £126,000 a year. Now you're already tracking, actually, if you look at your quarterly, you're already tracking 200k. But if you could get one extra job a week, or say two extra jobs a month, that would give you, so 126 divided by 2, that would actually give you another 63 grand a year.
Yeah.
Now that's all nice, but it's, if you want to work from 9 till 3, 4 days a week, what we then need to look at is how can we set up a system that's not run by you, that generates these jobs. And you can set up like an automatic, and I'm going to call it a funnel, like a sales funnel, that you set up the process. You set up a process of messages, fundamentally, that then is run by somebody else, that will consistently pull in a job week in, week out, probably pull in more than one job week in, week out. And then you have a system where somebody else follows your Harriet's system that screens that job, and then they take over the delivery of it. So what we need to do is get what's in your head out into a system, and then actually you probably need to have another person. And what might happen is, it might be Ariana, 6 months down the line, she gets promoted into like an account management type role. You've got this automated sales funnel that pulls in jobs, and then you've probably got another person who does a lot more of the work in terms of your candidate generation, your referrals, your recommendations, working your database, building that pool of candidates that then get passed to Ariana, who then just takes these jobs that come in through the automated funnel. And actually at that point, well, you don't even need to be there. You might want to, but you can then choose, actually, you know what, I'm only going to work with this client because that actually fits into my 9 till 3.
Yeah, it's good to see that. It's good to see the little sort of one more job and what a difference that can make.
What stops you filling more of your jobs at the moment?
I don't know is probably the honest answer. I don't know. I would say a couple have taken direct candidates. If I look back over this year, a couple, they will promote from within. So then they will cancel that job, but then I will put on another job and then backfill the position. That happens a lot. I would say probably they are two of the main reasons, because generally when I'm working on jobs, they're on a sole basis. So I don't go up against other agencies when I'm working jobs. It doesn't interest me. Or I've got retained work on, which again, I'm filling. So I would say it's either internal promotions or they find a candidate directly.
Yeah, that would be my next question for you, because with that sort of conversion rate, how many of your clients are retaining you to work on those roles? And it sounds like there's a continuous need of those roles. Would that be fair?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, you could be working on a contract basis with those clients.
Yeah, and that's another thing we're working on in the business is converting contingency clients to retained.
Definitely.
Katie, could you dig a bit more into that, Katie? Because this is like a big opportunity for Harriet if she got this nailed.
Well, yeah, I think the thing here is that you have like evidence and track record of what you do. My question for you would be, of your top 5 clients, how many of those clients have you had a proper service review with and gone through with them your stats and your performance levels?
None. It's on my to-do list. It is I'm getting through this week. I'm having Easter off, and then it is my next part of the year is my look at all of this in the business and work out, okay, which clients we're going to work with first, how are we going to do it, what process are we going to go through, what figures do we need, and it's all in the next quarter.
Yeah, because you've got a massive opportunity here to be creating a service level agreement with your client, or service offering, let's call it, that is totally bespoke, that really shines through what it is that you do, like the unique abilities that you have, and to get those clients locked in for a longer period of time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if I had these kind of numbers and I was working back in recruitment, I would be like, right, that is it. We're going straight to these 5, because once you've got those clients locked in, you can then get another client. Because then if we took one of those clients, what's the average value of one of those clients?
I would say that I know one of those clients I probably do about £40,000 with a year.
Right. And I think when you answered the question earlier, but I'll ask you again, what other jobs are you leaving on the table with that client?
They asked me to work on other things, but because they're not in my exact niche, I don't do it. So that they want to work with me in other things, but for me, it's about covering the roles that I know I can confidently fill at the moment. Perfect. Because for me, it's a time. I know I can do that. I know I can get the money in for that one. So that's what I'm going to work on.
Okay. All right. So if you had, if you were to get 4 more clients, 5 more clients, then straight away, that's another 200 grand and retained. I mean, I would love to see your candidate numbers as well, but I think here's the opportunity for you. Definitely history leaves clues, and to get that information together and to go and speak to your clients, because you will be able to get them on a contract basis, retained, working in the way that you want to work it. So, and making sure that if there was this promote from within, that you still got paid your fee for it, even though you're doing that work, because there's that consistent basis. Pretty sure you'll get offers of, would you like to come and work internally for us? Now, whether you want to set it up as an RPO or not, I don't know, but there's probably is that opportunity for you, I would say, within what you're doing. And then you really need somebody to replicate you doing those levels of that you're doing, so that you can then move up that chain, because what you have is so unique. Is like, honestly, Harriet, for your knowledge and expertise and the value that you provide, you would absolutely want to be working at the level or 2 levels above in terms of those types of roles that you can recruit for.
Yeah.
Because your client is missing out, where your expertise is there, but you could get somebody doing what you're doing, and then you elevate yourself to the next level. That would tie your clients in, but also that would make your revenue even more exciting, because you're probably looking at a fee there of like 12 to 15.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's where you could do a 2-day week if you wanted, whatever you wanted. You could do that, but you also have a consistent flow of revenue through your team.
Yeah, definitely.
We've done this with a couple of clients. Like I'm thinking Alison Bryn, Katie, Ian and Tony, where actually they've changed their whole model. So they went and sold contract, and it was fundamentally, I'm going to say RPO, but it was more than RPO. And they then beefed up their talent teams, and they just then delivered day in, day out, week in, week out, the candidates. And like, but these contracts were worth 250 grand, you know, plus, and they've then retained these clients for 3 years, and just got totally embedded with it. And that's the opportunity you've got within your niche.
Yeah, definitely. And it's it's on my next quarter targets to be working this and getting those conversations happening and converting these clients.
Yeah. And it's about how then, you know, and this is the bit that can take a bit of time, and then certainly where, you know, the likes of us can fast forward it. It's like, what are the systems, what are the templates, what the process is. It's almost like you're still going to put your unique abilities on it, but the 90% of what you need done is done. And then there might be a slightly different type of person you might hire into this machine, I don't know, like system as well, from the generic recruitment 360 model. But you could totally be working even less, like a lot less than you're doing now, but it's actually, you're going to need another person.
Yeah,
you might be doing like 350k with 3 people versus 200 with you working the hours that you don't want to work and a resource. Yeah,
definitely. So, that makes complete sense.
Cool. All right. Okay. I know we've run over slightly. And no, Harriet, I'm so grateful, bearing in mind how much you've gone, for taking this time out. Have you got any questions for us? Anything else you need?
No, I think it's really interesting, though. It's really interesting for someone else to look at your figures as well, because you can look at them yourself. And as soon as someone else mentions something, you go, oh, yeah, I know I'm not doing that, or, you know, whoops. So it's good just to have that insight as well. It's been really useful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So, Harriet, thank you so much for today. We hope viewers have found this really useful too. If you do want to get your business analysed, you want to come into the Makeover show, we are going to be putting out applications in the next couple of weeks for our next makeover heroes. So if what you've seen today you like the sound of, and you want to get quicker results faster, you want a plug and play system that creates a business that works for you rather than you working for the business, and get yourself out of that craziness into more of the stuff that you should be doing and you enjoy doing, then all you need to do is to reach out to Katie and me, put yes in the comments below, or if you're on LinkedIn, just reach out and message us, and we can then jump on a call with you. So thank you guys. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Harriet. And we will see you again next time. Cheerio.
Thank you.